Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times to discuss books in horror. And today, finally, I'm here to talk to you about this year's evilathon, and we're gonna check today all the prompts.
It's coffee time.
So if you've been following me for a while, you know that every year for the month of November, I like to do the evilathon. It's a very low-key readathon that I like to host so that people get to read more horror. October is normally a month that there are many readathons out there, and we all love the Halloween season. We love to indulge in horror, and I would like to extend that to the month of November as well before December hits us. I mean, we already have Christmas stuff in the stores.
Oh Lord.
It's October. Can we please chill? Thank you. So let's talk about the readathon. The readathon takes place the full month of November, so you guys have enough time to read your books, and I'm gonna try this year to host a couple of reading sprints to motivate each other so that we can all get to those books. I still have not decided on the dates, and I'm still also confirming guests for the reading sprint, so I will update you guys on that. And now let's talk about the prompts this year. I always try to look for a theme, and I felt like this year there was a theme that I was kind of already in and that is the Saw franchise. So I have been rewatching all the Saw movies, and actually this Friday we're going finally to watch Saw 10 because it's coming out now here in the Netherlands, and I have been kind of living in this Saw franchise momentum, and I thought what better thing than to take some of the traps from the Saw movies and turn them into prompts. So if you're not familiar with the Saw franchise, basically we have a character called Jigsaw. He is our quote-unquote killer. I would not say he's a killer. He just puts people in traps and asks them to play a game. This game is forcing you to make a choice, and that choice is mostly not gonna end up well for you. And yeah, so that's what he does. And so throughout the whole franchise there has been many traps that the characters have been put through. Some of them have made it out, others have not really made it out at all, and it's always fun. The traps are always my favorite part of the movies. They are very imaginative, brutal as well, but for me the fun of the franchise is the traps. So I have named all the prompts according to some of those traps, and I'm gonna go over them. It's not really gonna be a spoiler. I'm just gonna tell you what the trap is and what the prompt is. The needle pit is one of the traps from Saw Part 2, and this is a pit in which when you fall into it, it's all full of needles, like to the top, and you have to work your way through the needles in order to find a key if you want to survive. That is absolutely horrifying. I don't like needles at all, so having to go into a pit full of needles where they're stabbing me, not fun. And for this, because the needles just keep digging into your skin, they just keep sticking in you, I decided that you have to read a book that you have been seeing around non-stop and you cannot wait to read. Like a book that you've been bombarded with in social media or been recommended by friends over and over again and you have not read yet. The bathroom trap. We go back to the OG, the original Saw movie, which has been so far obviously my favorite. It's one of those movies that after you see it, it will change your life, especially if you saw it when it came out, and you get to the end, you're gonna be like mind blown. In this iconic first trap, we have two men that are in opposite sides of a bathroom, and they both have their ankles chained to a metal pipe, and they are given instructions by Jigsaw on what to do in order to survive. And it's probably not gonna end up well, as we all know, but this is one of my favorite traps because it was, like I said, so mentally mind-blowing to me, the whole thing. This trap, this bathroom, is iconic for the franchise. We also return to this bathroom in future movies as well, And for this one, I would like you to read a book that you are expecting it to be 5 stars, so you will not be able to put it down, meaning you would take it with you even to the bathroom. So this is what you gotta read for prompt number 2. Angel Trap, and this is from Saw Part 3. In this one we have our subject that is trapped and she has something attached to her chest, meaning if she is unable to get out of the trap in time, her ribcage will open up like an angel. Beautiful image right there. This sounds horrible, but for this one, since it's called the Angel Trap, I would like you to read either a supernatural or a paranormal book, something that has maybe a ghost, something related to that. Scalping Seat from Saw 4. This one is also quite horrifying, especially for people like me that have really long hair, because what this trap does is the woman is sitting on a chair, her hair is in a ponytail, and the ponytail is trapped to a machine that basically is going to start, you know, working, and once the machine is turned on, if she doesn't make it out in time, she's gonna be basically de-scalped. Like her whole scalp is just gonna go out, and that's not a fun time to watch. For this one, I would like you to read either your bestie's favorite horror book, or if your bestie doesn't really read horror, then choose a favorite book by one of the horror booktubers that you follow. Shotgun Carousel. This is from Saw 6. This was one of my favorites because this one is basically putting 6 people that you know in a carousel and is asking you to make a choice to decide which of the 6 will potentially make it out alive. I thought it was such a cool like trap, and also you have, you know, this carousel, which is something supposed to be innocent, childlike, but it's turned into a death machine, and there's something poetic about it. It ended up being almost like a Russian roulette kind of scenario, and I really did enjoy this trap. Since this one is kind of like a random one, like a Russian roulette kind of thing, I would like you to randomly pick one of the horror books that you have on your TBR pile or on your Goodreads list of books to read. Death Mask, and this one is from Saw 2. This is another one that I really enjoyed. We have seen different types of the mask on the face since the first movie, and this particular one is kind of like the Iron Maiden, like that method of torture, but just on your face. And the thing is, you can get the key to get out of the trap, but the key has been hidden behind your eye. So it's behind, you just have to poke your eye out, then you get the key, and then you can get out, easy peasy, you see? You always have a choice. For this one, I would like you to read a horror book that has a masked killer, or maybe just a killer that has a very specific way of dressing. You can stretch the prompt a little bit, but I thought, you know, a masked killer would fit really well. Laser Color, and this is from the spin-off that they did called Jigsaw, and this is kind of like the more sci-fi, the more like tech trap that we've seen, because we have a guy that is trapped with some lasers that are going to basically slice him up in pieces, or better said, his face, if he doesn't make it out of the trap in time. He has like this collar attached to his neck with the lasers, and like I said, if he doesn't make it out alive, then he's gonna be sliced. And for this one, I would like you to read a horror book that is a horror sci-fi. Public Execution, and this is from Saw 7, which is called Saw 3D, and this one is the first time that Jigsaw has actually put up in the open, in public, in full display, one of his traps for everybody to see, for the whole world to see, and that was quite horrifying to think about. And we have these 2 guys that are trapped in a machine, like with some saws, and they have to make a choice. And to add more tension to these, the girlfriend of these 2 guys is also involved in the trap, and the choice they have to make is not going to be easy, and not all 3 of them, I can tell you, is going to make it out alive. For this one, I would like you to read a horror book that you don't think you would be able to read in public. That is a horror book that maybe has a cover that makes you uncomfortable, people seeing you read that, or maybe something that you know is going to disturb you and you don't want to be like making faces in front of people, Or maybe it's like a horror erotica or something that you know has smut in it and you don't want people to see you in public reading this thing. So again, you can stretch the prompts as much as you want. The Pendulum Trap in Saw 5. This is probably one of the goriest of all of them, and one that is quite horrifying. It is obviously inspired by Edgar Allan Poe's story. We have a guy that is strapped to a table and he needs to choose between breaking both of his hands or being sliced in the middle by a pendulum. That's your choice. So like I said, this one is quite brutal. And since this one is based on the short horror story The Pit and the Pendulum by Edgar Allan Poe, for this prompt I would like you to read a short horror story of your choice. And last but not least, we have The Rack from Saw 3. And this is a trap in which you are basically crucified. You're kind of in a machine that looks like a cross. And if you don't manage to get it out on time, the machine is gonna start twisting your limbs, so your arms and your legs, until every bone in your body is broken and shattered. Fun! So for this one, since our victim is kind of like in a cross, I would like you to watch a movie that is either like exorcism, like religious related kind of horror movie, some sort of movie like that. You can go for classics like The Exorcist. You can go for something a little bit more artsy like Saint Maud that I absolutely adored. I do want to make a list of some book options for the prompts. There are some that are, you know, depending on your friends, on what books you have seen on TikTok that you want to read, things like that. So some of them I might not have many examples for, but there are some prompts that are more specific. So I will make a video with some options for you guys, and hopefully still will come up this week so you have more time to plan. If you can think already of options for all of these prompts, let me know in the comments down below and I will make sure to add them on the video to give people also more options. So these were the 10 prompts for the Evilathon 2023. I hope you like the prompts. I hope you like that I got inspiration by Saw traps. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea because the traps are quite intense and gory, but I feel like the prompts are quite approachable. But as I said, you can bend them, twist them, like do whatever works for you. The only thing I really want is for you guys to enjoy horror, to participate. You can read middle grade, you can read YA, you can read adult, whatever works for you. If you can only read short horror stories, then just choose horror stories for the month of November. It's just, you know, to motivate you guys to pick up more horror and to read some horror together during the month of November. As soon as I know when the reading sprints will take place, I will post a list both on my Twitter and my Instagram, so make sure to follow me there as well. The links are in the description box down below. Thank you guys as always so much for watching, and I hope to see you all, as always, in our next coffee time. Bye!